Hello learners, welcome to BEDS 002. The name of the course is Socio-Psychological Basis. We are going to start with week 1, part 1. Before we start, let me give you a brief introduction to this course. This course, like I said, is titled Socio-Psychological Basis, and in this particular course, we are going to learn about the various development which takes place in an individual life. We will be talking about in block 1 self-development. In self-development, we are going to talk about physical development, we are going to talk about functional development, we are going to talk about stages of development, and in block 2, we are going to talk about social development, social dynamics and value development, and in block 3 we are going to talk about social linkages. This is a very important course because in this particular course we are going to talk about how self-development is important in a person's life. If there is self-development in one's life, then the self-development will lead to what is called a balanced personality. The person who has self-development will have various positive points, will have positive attitudes in life, because when we talk about development in the form of self-development, it means progress. And when you progress as an individual, whether it is your physical, whether it is emotional, intellectual or spiritual, it means it is good for the holistic development in a person's personality. So this course will talk about how value development comes about through the various development, and also it will talk about the influence of media on value development, how media influence value development. And also we will talk about how the role of parents, the role of teachers, peer group and social institutions are very much important in terms of value development. So this particular course is socio-psychological basis, and this particular course consists of 12 weeks, and each week there will be 3 parts of the particular topic. Like today, we are going to start week 1, and in week 1, part 1, we are going to start with what is physical development. The first stage of any development is called physical development. When we talk about physical development, it gives structure, form and functions to the human body, and so physical development becomes the core of the personality development. When we talk about physical development, we are talking about how you become an adult from an infant. You go through various stages of physical development. You are an infant, then you become a child, then you become an adolescent, then you become an adult, and then you reach old age. So there are various stages of physical development, and when we talk about physical development, it gives structure, form and functions to the human development, and because of this development, because of this physical development, it becomes the core of the personality development. Physical development includes changes in the body, that is in the brain, muscles, sense organs, bones and so on, and in ways an individual uses his or her body, for example, motor development. So when we talk about physical development talks about the development, the changes in the brain, in the muscles, in the sense organs and so on. And a lot of skills in terms of how you move your hands, how you move your head, how you move your legs also takes place. So as you progress from one stage to another, that is from an infant to a child to an adolescent to an adult to someone who has reached an old age, there is various changes in the structure of the body. Development is a complex process. Certain growth factors make physical development fast or slow, and they are as follows. So when we talk about development, when we talk about physical development, there are certain factors which help you in whether you are going to grow fast physically or slow. Let us take, for instance, heredity. What do you mean by heredity? When we talk about heredity, it is the passing on of characteristics from one generation to the next. It is the reason why offspring looks like their parents. It also explains why cats always give birth to kittens and never puppies. So when we talk about heredity, we say that, for example, a child has a talented father or mother in terms of talent in music or in terms of talent in let's say dancing. So most of the time what happens is this particular characteristic of the father or the mother who is talented in music or in dancing, this particular characteristic would pass on to the next generation, to her child. So when we talk about heredity, it is characteristic which is passed on from one generation to the next, and this particular hereditary characteristic is the reason why offspring would look like their parents or would have certain characteristic which would tell you that they have got this particular characteristic of physical resemblance. This particular characteristic or this particular feature, or this is the reason why offspring look like their parents or take after their parents. So this is how heredity is passing on the characteristic, explains the passing on of characteristic from one generation to the next. The process of hereditary occurs among all living things, including animals, plants, bacteria and fungi. The study of heredity is called genetics, and scientists that study heredity are called geneticists. Through heredity, living things inherit traits from their parents. So it is an important field of study which is called genetics, because this is the study of hereditary. And in this particular field of study, the scientists who study heredity are called geneticists. Traits like physical characteristics, how you resemble your parents because you inherit their hair or skin or nose shape, height and other traits from them. Let me give you an example. If you have parents who are tall, your father and mother are tall, it is significant that you as a child would most of the time, in most cases, would inherit the height from your parents. If your parents are fair, if your parents have certain nose shape, it would be the characteristics in most likely would be you would resemble the shape of the nose, the skin color, you would inherit these features or characteristic from your parents. So this is called heredity. When we talk about heredity, cells are the basic unit of structure and function of all living things. Tiny biochemical structure inside each cell called genes carry traits from one generation to the next. Genes are carried on chromosomes in the cell nucleus. Genes control hereditary characteristics, that is, for example, the color of the skin, the eyes, or mental qualities. Mental qualities in terms of, let's say, you have parents who are doctors, you have parents who have a very high IQ level, let's say you have parents who are scientists, then in most cases the characteristic, that is the qualities of a parents you would take after your parents in terms of your mental ability, the qualities that you have in terms of your intellectual ability, and so on and so forth. Another very important factor other than heredity is environment. How does environment leads to a fast or slow physical development? The development of children also depends a lot on environment factor. What do we mean by environment factor? This refers to objects or conditions surrounding a person. It includes types of family members, peer groups, and community around. Seaside, high hills, deserts, or plains influence one's physical development. Children are highly vulnerable to the negative health consequences associated with many environmental exposures. So, when we talk about environment, it means the conditions which surrounds you as a person. It includes the family members. So, if you have an environment which is cordial, your parents are cordial, you have your grandparents who gives you very important life lessons, and also you have a very understanding community around you which respects all kinds of religion. If you grow up in such an environment, you become a good person. You inculcate what is called empathy, sympathy for others. There is what is called a personality which develops and makes you a good person. So, environment in terms of people surrounding you is very important. Environment in terms of how much pollution frees the environment, because at times the environment in which you live, that is, if you don't have trees around, if you have a lot of vehicles running up in front of your house, up and down in front of your house, or if you have if you live in an area where cleanliness is not there, where you have your where you have dustbins, your waste, household waste being thrown around, then in such an environment it leads to what is called negative health consequences. It leads to what is called negative environmental exposures, and it may lead to a lot of health conditions. You may fall sick, you may develop allergies, and so on and so forth. So having a good environment in terms of the family around you, the community around you, or in terms of environment, the nature around you, how much trees are there, how clean the neighborhood is, all these are also very important part of your development. Children receive proportionately larger doses of environmental toxins than adults, and the fact that their organs and tissues are rapidly developing make them particularly susceptible to chemical insults. So, when we talk about living in a pollution-free environment, especially when there are children around you, it is very important to focus on clean environment, because compared to adults, children receive larger doses of environment toxins, because when you are at a young age, your immunity system is not that high compared to adults. So children are more susceptible, they are more exposed to chemical insults. So it is very important to have a clean environment around you. Research in children's head looks at the effect of air pollution on respiratory diseases such as allergies and asthma, the impact of lead, mercury and other environmental contaminants on cognitive development and behavior, and the influence of prenatal and early life exposures on growth and development. So when we talk about children's health, there has been research done on how air pollution leads to a lot of respiratory diseases such as allergy, such as asthma. Because of contamination in the environment, there is a negative impact on the physical development, on the intellectual, social, emotional development of the children. There is slow development in the children because of such environmental pollution. So we see research which solidifies the fact that pollution leads to a lot of respiratory diseases, and also it at times leads to what is called slow development in children. After discussing the effect of heredity and environment on the development, especially in terms of physical development, let us talk about the contribution, the effect of food and development. When we talk about food, our body needs food to provide us with the nutrients for energy to work and play. We also need food for growth and to repair and replace worn out and damaged body parts. Let me give you an example. When we see athletes, when we see sports person, we see them on television, we see them during interviews, we see that a lot of them undergo what is called dietary restrictions. They have these athletes, persons who are well-known athletes, who have achieved so much in their field, in the sports field. We have seen them or we have heard them discuss how they undergo what is called rigorous training, and also they take what is called balanced diet, because diet, the food they eat, is very important for their growth. And a lot of time there has been this saying that what you are is what you eat. So if you are careful of what you eat, then your body would be healthy, there would be normal physical development, and also a lot of these food will help you to grow into a healthy person. So when we talk about these factors, when we talk about what are the physical development, what are the important areas, what are the important parts play by food, hereditary and your environment, we have touched upon the contribution of food. We have talked about the contribution of hereditary. We have talked about the contribution of your environment. And when we talk about this particular aspect of physical development, we are talking about how your physical development is related to the environment, how this physical development is related to the food you take, how this physical environment is related to your hereditary, that is the characteristics that you have from your parents. And when we talk about physical development, when you see an infant, a newborn baby, you see that an inborn or an infant has organs, which are the organs are at a very basic stage, and the way the infant or the child moves his hands, his fingers or legs are very limited. So when an infant is born, Then you have very basic organs, very basic motors development you can see in an infant. Then as the infant grows into an adult, as an infant grow up, you see a lot of physical development which takes place in the infant. At times physical development may not be proper. At times physical development may not be what is called normal, because certain children do not have balanced diet, because they may be poor, they come from an poor economic background, so they may not have what is called proper died. So we see a lot of children who have not developed physically because of malnutrition, because they are not able to have a proper diet, and so on and so forth. So when we talk about physical development, it is very important that the factors of food, you should have balanced diet. Then factors of environment, where the environment in terms of the people surrounding you, the community surrounding you, if you have a cordial environment in terms of your parents, relationship is good between your parents, or if your relationship is good in terms of your in terms of what is surrounding you, the physical environment, that is if you have trees, proper trees, and if you have proper sanitation in the environment, it will lead to what is called a balanced growth. When we talk about development in terms of physical development, hormones are also very important. Hormones which are secreted by endocrine glands. We see that healthy glands which are pituitary, which is attached to the brain, the thyroid and the sex glands, etc. Healthy glands quicken growth. It leads to what is called growth in development, growth in physical development. Cycling, swimming, integrate and balance various body functions. And also when you have proper exercise, then it leads to what is called proper physical development. Then when we talk about prenatal development refers to the process in which a baby develops from a single cell after conception into an embryo and later a fetus. So you have the average growth length of time for prenatal development, which is 38 weeks. Then also we have these various stages which we will talk in detail in the next class. In today's class, I want you to just focus on the importance of hereditary. I want you to focus on the importance of how hormones is important, because hormones which are secreted by endocrine glands, and these glands which are pituitary, which are attached to the brain, these glands, if they are healthy, it leads to what is called quicken growth, and also it helps in a balanced physical development. Then we just touched upon what is called prenatal development, where we talked about where a baby develops from a single cell to after conception into an embryo and later a fetus. The normal development, or the prenatal development, in other words, is 38 weeks, and after 38 weeks in the womb of the mother, then you have what the child is born. Then we have what is called the germinal stage, which begins with conception, when the sperm and egg cell unite in one of the two fallopian tubes, and when the egg is fertilized, it is known as zygote, and the cell division begins approximately 24 to 36 hours after conception. And we have what is called the embryonic stage. Embryonic stage begins after implantation and continues until cell differentiation has been mostly completed. and structures are important to the support of the embryonic development, including the placenta and umbilical cord. During this time, cells begin to differentiate into the various body systems. And then we have the fetus stage. You have what is called the germinal state, the embryonic stage, and the fetus stage, where prenatal development is most dramatic during this fetal stage, and the early body systems and structures established in the embryonic stage continue to develop in this fetus stage. So, dear learners, with this particular class I have completed week 1 part 1, which was physical development. I hope you have enjoyed this class. Thank you so much.